You've been trying to do one thing for the past 3 hours, and you haven't done it. Instead, you've checked your phone 47 times. You've watched a video you didn't even mean to watch. You've scrolled so far down a feed that you don't even remember how you got there. And now you feel this low, quiet guilt sitting in your chest. Here's what no one tells you. That's not a character flaw. That's not laziness. That's not you being weak. That is your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. And by the time this video is over, you will understand why. And more importantly, you'll know what to do about it. Here's the question I want you to sit with. Why is it easier to watch 8 episodes of a show you don't even fully enjoy than it is to do 1 hour of meaningful work? Think about that. Seriously. One requires 0 effort. The other feels like climbing a wall with no handholds. Same brain, same person. Wildly different experiences. That gap, that enormous gap between what you intend to do and what you actually do, is not random. It is the result of a system inside your brain that was built millions of years ago, and it is now running in a world it was never designed for. This isn't a productivity video. This is something deeper than that. Because before you can fix your focus, before you can build discipline, before you can become who you actually want to be, you have to understand what you're up against. And what you're up against is your own mind. Let's go back. Way back. Imagine you're a human living 50,000 years ago. No cities, no offices, no glowing rectangles in your pocket. Just wilderness, survival, and uncertainty at every turn. In that world, your brain had one job: keep you alive. And to do that, it developed a very specific strategy. Whenever something new appeared in your environment, a sound, a movement, a flash of light, your brain would immediately redirect all of its attention toward it. Why? Because in the wild, novelty was information, and information meant survival. The rustle in the grass might be prey, or it might be a predator. Either way, you couldn't afford to ignore it. So your brain learned to be addicted to novelty. It learned to reward you with a tiny hit of pleasure every time you paid attention to something new. It made distraction feel good. Now fast forward to today. That same ancient brain, the one wired to chase novelty for survival, is sitting in your apartment. And instead of rustling grass, it has notifications. It has infinite scroll. It has autoplay. It has 17 tabs open and a text message that just came in. Your brain cannot tell the difference. To your nervous system, a ping on your phone triggers the same ancient alertness as a sound in the jungle. Your attention snaps toward it. Your pulse quickens slightly. Your focus shatters. And then it's gone. And then there's another one. This is not an accident. This is by design. But we'll get to that. First, I need to tell you about the most powerful chemical in your brain. You've heard of dopamine. Most people think it's the pleasure chemical. But that's not quite right. Dopamine is actually the anticipation chemical. Here's what that means. In 1954, neuroscientist James Olds accidentally discovered that rats would press a lever endlessly if it delivered a tiny electrical stimulation to a specific region of the brain. They would press it thousands of times an hour. They would skip food. They would skip sleep. That region? The nucleus accumbens, the brain's dopamine reward center. And the rats weren't pressing the lever because it felt good to press it. They were pressing it because their brain kept telling them something rewarding might happen. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. That's dopamine. It doesn't reward you for getting the thing. It lights you up for chasing the thing. Now think about your phone. Every time you pick it up, your brain fires a small burst of dopamine. Not because you found something amazing, but because you might. There might be a like. There might be a message. There might be something funny, something shocking, something that makes you feel seen. The variable reward. Psychologist B.F. Skinner discovered this decades ago. He found that the most addictive reward schedule isn't getting rewarded every time. And it's not getting rewarded never. It's getting rewarded sometimes. Randomly, unpredictably. That's a slot machine. And that's your phone. Every pull is a scroll. Every spin is a refresh. And your dopamine system, ancient, powerful, completely non-negotiable, cannot resist it. This is why you pick up your phone to check the time and put it down 8 minutes later, having watched a video about something you've never thought about in your life. You didn't want that, but your brain did. Now here is where it gets darker. Because this isn't just evolution working against you. There are people, very smart, very well-funded people, who have studied your brain's weaknesses and built entire industries around exploiting them. The average American spends over 4 hours a day on their phone. Over 4 hours. That's 28 hours a week. That's a part-time job. Except instead of being paid, you're the product. The apps on your phone are not designed to be used. They are designed to be impossible to put down. Infinite scroll was invented because pages that ended gave your brain a natural stopping point. A moment to ask, do I actually want to keep going? Infinite scroll removes that question entirely. There is no end. There is no pause. There is only more. Autoplay exists because the second a video ends, your brain is given a fraction of a second to decide to do something else. Autoplay eliminates that second. The decision is made for you. Notification badges are red because red triggers urgency in the human nervous system. It's the color of blood, of fire, of danger. Your brain sees red and says, deal with this now. These are not features. These are traps engineered by teams of neuroscientists and behavioral psychologists who know exactly how your brain works. And they use that knowledge against you every single day. Sean Parker, one of the co-founders of Facebook, admitted this openly. He said the platform was designed to exploit a vulnerability in human psychology. He said they knew what they were building, and they built it anyway. So let's be clear about what's happening. You are not distracted because you're weak. You are distracted because you are a human being with an ancient brain living inside a system that was specifically engineered to keep you distracted. That's not an excuse, but it is a truth you need to carry with you. Here's something that stopped me cold when I first read it. Research from the University of California, Irvine found that after being interrupted, even briefly, it takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to fully return to a task. 23 minutes. So when your phone buzzes and you glance at it for 10 seconds and put it back down, that 10 seconds just cost you almost half an hour of deep focus. Now multiply that by dozens of interruptions a day. And now you understand why, despite being busy all day, you get to the end of it and feel like you accomplished almost nothing. The researchers call this attention residue. When you switch tasks, even for a moment, part of your mind stays stuck on what you just looked at. You're physically present, but mentally you're somewhere else. This is why your best ideas, your deepest work, your most creative moments, they rarely happen when you're bouncing between tabs and notifications. They happen in the quiet, in the depth, in the focused state that the modern world is designed to destroy. The cost of distraction isn't just wasted time, it's wasted potential. It's the version of yourself you never become because your attention was scattered across 1,000 forgettable things. That is a heavy thing to sit with. I want you to think about something personal for a moment. Think about the last time you were truly absorbed in something. Not scrolling, not half watching, truly in it, reading something, creating something, building something, talking to someone you love. Remember how that felt? That state has a name. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi called it flow. And the research on it is remarkable. When you're in flow, your brain's self-monitoring regions, the parts that generate anxiety, self-doubt, and the voice that says you're not good enough, they go quiet. You feel competent, alive, connected to what you're doing. Flow feels like the opposite of distraction. And you know what? Most people haven't felt it in a long time. Because flow requires uninterrupted time. It requires discomfort at the beginning, that awkward few minutes before you get absorbed, where your brain is restless and wants to escape. It requires you to push through the initial friction, and the modern world has made that friction feel unbearable. But here's what I need you to understand. That restlessness you feel when you sit down to do something hard, the urge to check your phone, to procrastinate, to find literally anything else to do, that is not a sign that you're bad at focusing. That is the beginning of focus. That is the exact moment, if you stay, where your brain begins to settle. Most people reach for their phone right there, right at the threshold. And the version of them that could have existed on the other side of that discomfort never does.
So what do you actually do? Let me give you the real answers, not the empty advice, not just put your phone down. Real, psychologically grounded changes. The first thing you have to understand is that willpower is not the strategy. Willpower depletes. It's a muscle that fatigues. If your entire plan is, I'll just try harder to resist, you will fail. Every time. The strategy is environment design. Your brain responds to cues. If your phone is visible on your desk, research shows your cognitive capacity is reduced, even if you're not looking at it. Even if it's face down, just its presence pulls a portion of your attention. Put it in another room, not on silent. In another room. Remove the cue, remove the trigger. Turn off every non-essential notification, every single one. The world will not end. Nothing important enough to interrupt your focus will happen that can't wait 25 minutes. The second strategy is to work with your dopamine system instead of against it. Your brain craves the feeling of progress. Small wins trigger dopamine just like novelty does. So break your work into tiny, visible chunks. Cross things off. Close loops. Create a system where focus itself becomes rewarding. This is why to-do lists work when you actually finish things on them. The act of completion releases dopamine. Your brain starts associating focused work with reward. Over time, that association builds. The third strategy is something called scheduled distraction. Instead of fighting the urge to check your phone constantly, give it a time. Tell your brain, at 11:15, we check. That's our time. Until then, we work. This sounds too simple, but the psychological principle here is powerful. Urges don't grow forever. They peak and fade. If you can delay the behavior, the urgency dissolves. And the fourth strategy, the one most people skip, is recovery. Your brain cannot sustain deep focus indefinitely. The research suggests 50 to 90 minutes of focused work, followed by genuine rest, not doom scrolling, not a quick check of social media. Actual rest. A walk. Silence. Something that allows your default mode network to process and consolidate. The break is not a reward for working. The break is part of the work. These aren't hacks. They're how your brain actually functions. Here's the truth that I keep coming back to. We live in the most distracted era in human history. The systems around us, the apps, the algorithms, the architecture of the attention economy, are extraordinary in their sophistication. They are built by the most brilliant minds in the world, and their goal is to capture the one thing you have that cannot be bought back once spent: your time and your attention. Every hour you spend lost in the infinite scroll is an hour that wasn't spent on the thing that matters to you. The relationship, the craft, the dream, the version of yourself you're trying to build. Distraction is not the enemy of productivity. Distraction is the enemy of identity. It keeps you from becoming who you actually are. The most radical thing you can do in this world is sit with something that matters. Uncomfortable, imperfect, uncertain, and stay. Not because it's easy, but because everything that ever meant anything was built in those moments of staying. Your brain loves distraction, but you, the part of you watching this right now, the part that knows there's more, you love something else. Feed that instead.
If this video made you think, it'll make someone else think too. Share it with them. And if you want to go deeper into the psychology of how your mind really works, subscribe to Brainy Books. We break down the books, the research, and the ideas that actually change how you see yourself. New video every week. We'll see you there.